Hey guys, welcome to Coding with Coca's channel, and today we're going to be playing a game of ping pong, or rather creating a project, and uh it's going to be a two-player game. So how this game works is there'll be a ball that starts from the middle and it'll go to either side, and one of the paddles have to touch it. And the main goal of the game is to score points. And how to score points is let the ball touch the other side of the screen without the other paddle blocking it. And if it does so, then one of your point increments by one. And the first player to reach to score 10 will win the game, and the bot will broadcast saying that player wins, game over. So I'll show you a demonstration of the game. 1 second. So, yeah, that's how you play the game. Sorry, ball was straight for that. It's really annoying when my laptop lags a lot. And yeah, let's just let one of the players really quick get 10 points. Uh, Suppose we're letting player 2 get all 10 points. And we'll see how the ball broadcasts which certain player wins. So 1 second. Yeah, and it's game over. Player 2 reached a score of 10. Player 2 is this paddle. So yeah, the ball broadcast game over, player 2 wins. So that's all this game is about. So I'll get a few things ready and we'll get right into starting to program this project. Yeah, see you. Okay, now that we have a new file opened up on Scratch, let's first get rid of this sprite. We won't be using this. Now let's go to sprite, and we need a ping pong ball. Well, I'd recommend any ball that's solid colored and circular, obviously. So let's go with this ball. And yeah. So to start programming for the ball, all we need to do is first give when green flag clicked, and let's make two variables. Remember the player scores we had? We have to make variables for each of those. So player 2 score, and then that's for all sprites. Pretty sure. And then make another variable which is player, sorry, player 1, and yeah, player 1 scores. That's for all sprites as well. So let's just move this to like that. And now after we've done that, let's get the set player score to 0. So obviously you want the score to be 0 every time they restart the game. So when the green flag's clicked, the player scores 0 for player 1 and player 2. And then next we would want the ball to go to the center. So we'd want it to go to x0 and y0. I'm pretty sure that's the center, somewhere over there. It's x0 and y0. So let's see. Ball somewhere here. We start the game and it goes to the center. That's good. Okay. Now we want, so suppose like you see the ball bright spot, when it hits a wall and it turns around, the ball might rotate. So we don't want that to happen. We want it to be rotating left to right and not rotating around. This rotation style should be different. Let's change it to that. But if you don't want that, you could also do this, but I prefer that one. And then after that, we need to set the broadcast to so look, when one of the things balls hit the back of the sides, we want it to broadcast a score. So let's broadcast a message, new message, score. So Once you've done that, let's move on and make a new, let's make a new column. We want a forever loop, and it might be kind of confusing for y'all, but once you get used to Scratch, you'll think of all these beforehand. But this is for complete beginners, so I'll explain how. Well, I would be thinking for this beforehand, and I'll explain why everything is and what everything is for. So yeah, after you pull out your forever block, we need two if then blocks, and you also want to give operate. Go to the operators and get two equal symbols. So we've given two variables, right? Player one score and player two score. So if player one score is equal to 0, or I mean, sorry, 10, then we want the game to end. So we want the ball to say game. Oh, 1 second. Say game over. Actually, we don't need to capitalize that. And we also want to set the player score back. I mean, set the ball to say uh player the whichever player one wins. So for this certain one, if player one scores 10, then we want the ball to say player one wins. And then if you want the player two score, so we have to give a what do you call a function for player two score as well. So if player two scores, oh sorry, I already took that. If players two score is to 10, then we want it to say game over, or let's just duplicate this. Sorry, that was a bit complicated, but I think you'll get the hang of it. And say the same thing as this, but duplicate it, but say player two. So if you want to duplicate something, you could just left click on it and then click on duplicate. It's that simple. It also saves you a lot of time. And once you do that, you also want to give a key that says when I receive a score, the broadcast gave, I want the ball to go to 0, 0, and I want it to point in direction, let's say, pick random 45 to probably, let's go 135 for now. 1 second. And we want this to, we want a certain amount of actions to repeat until the player one scores equal to 10 or player two scores equal to 10 since, so we'll give that and get these two equal. Sorry, that did not work. We can put that one there and also give this equal symbol there and go to our variables and say player one score. If player one score is equal to 10 or player two score is equal to 10, then we can give a forever loop after that. But yeah, and go to move 10 steps. And if on 1 second, we need to stop the thing and say if on edge bounce. So if the ball touches the edge, then we want it to bounce back and go to the other way. So we in the basics, I've also given you sensing things, right? Well, we're going to be using the sensing category just now. So if well, we need to make that sprite, but let's get the sensing one. If touching, we're going to make a sprite named Paddle. Let's make the two sprites named Paddle later and then change this into Paddle. Well, if it's certainly touching the paddle, then we want to point it in the opposite direction. So let's go to motion and go to point in direction. We want to point it in direction -1, which makes it go the opposite way. So What exactly is that? We would want it to increment by -1, pretty sure. Let's just say that kind of motion and take the direction thing and then increment it by -1. And let's duplicate this for the next thing as well. Because we want, if it touches paddle 1 or paddle 2, we need it for both, right? So if touching this, then duplicate that. Oh, well, we could just do that. Never mind. And we can go to the control category and get another if block because we want to know like what position of the ball is so we can increment the score in the first place. So if the x position of the ball is greater than 215, let's say. Oh, I'm sorry. I think this is for 215. We have to switch these up because player one's going to be on this side. So I think this is going to be for player two, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, this one's going to be for player two. And then this one's going to be for the X position of is lesser than. It's going to be the exact opposite. So this is 215, and then the exact opposite here, 215. So that's 215. Oh, and never mind. It's negative 215. So this is negative 215, and if the ball is there, then player two is supposed to get incremented. So this is for player two, and this is for player one. Sorry for that confusion. So this is going to be player two. So we have to go to this and say change player's score by 1. And we also want it to broadcast score. Again. So, sorry, this was for player 2. And also, next, we want to get another if block and go and say, oh, sorry. If it is greater than 215, then change player 1 score by 1 and broadcast score. So when we broadcast this, it'll receive and say game over like this. So, well, I mean, when we broadcast, all of this happens. So, and yeah, the ball says that. So, broadcasting and receiving is all a loop in this area. So that's pretty much it for this sprite, I'm pretty sure. Now let's move on to paddles, and I'll be getting stuff ready for the paddles, the other two paddles. So yeah. Hey guys, now we're ready to code the paddle, the first paddle and the second paddle. So let's get started. Let's start coding the first paddle. So how we want to make the sprite for paddles, go to sprites, and we want the sprite to be a bar like the one I had in the beginning, that green colored bar. Wait, yeah, this paddle. And we'll choose that. And we want it to rotate. So it's like that. Oh, sorry. Isn't that? Yeah. And that's good. So what we want to code this to be is we want two paddles on each side, and we want them to begin at a certain point when the game is started. So let's first put that in place. So we want it to go to somewhere between negative 220, 228, 220. Let's say negative 228 and 7. Negative 228 and 7 should be good. Go to -228 and 7. And now we want a certain amount of things to repeat until the player score reaches 10. So we want that, and then say repeat until, well, we want it to go for both players so we can minimize the amount of work we do. So we can go player 1 score, player 2 score, take the 2 equal to player 1 score, player 2 score, and go 10, 10, and place them in both of the ors. Oh, sorry. That was bad. Repeat until and keep a forever loop inside so it happens on forever and say, well, the repeat until overrides this function, but we want this to happen forever until this function is, until this thing is executed. So we want we want the paddle to go up when we press W and the paddle to go down when we press S for the player on the left side, and we want the paddle to go up when we press the up arrow and the paddle to go down when we press the down arrow for the player on the right side. So we're going to be programming the one on the left side. So see, as I pressed green flag, it went to the left middle. So we want it to go to, first we want it to key if this key is pressed, let's say W, since we're programming that one. We want W and Y. So if key W and Y is pressed, and we also want this AND function because we want the position of the paddle to be known. So if the Y position of the paddle is 150, then this should happen. And Y position is less than, because we want it to be at a limit. We don't want it to go across. We want it to stay in the screen. So if it's less than 150, sorry, that's the Boolean value because it's not less than 150 because it's in the middle. And if the thing is, sorry, greater than negative 150, then we want it to let it go down. So Y position. Sorry, I might be wrong, but that's what I think it is. Then we also want it to be key I pressed Y. Oh, sorry, it's not Y. It was S the whole time. I did not look at my keys. I forgot. So, and then we went to if block, say key F, S pressed, and we also want the AND function. And go put that in. Oh, sorry. So we want the bar to move by 10 pixels because that's what looks realistic, or else it'll just teleport across the screen. So that's pretty good. And because if we're changing the Y, then the height or the height will move. If we're changing the X, then it'll move like that. We want it to change the Y. So you can change the Y by -10 if you want it to go down. And that's it for the code for this paddle. The next paddle is going to be kind of the same thing, but some of the values are going to be flip-flopped. So for this paddle, it was -228 and 7. We want the same height, but we want it to be opposite, exactly opposite. So wait, first let's go and make another paddle. So it already automatically gave it as paddle 2. With rotation style and make it straight. We want the direction to be 0 there, so it's perfectly straight. I can't get it. Good. That's good. So we wanted to do the same thing. So this is a really helpful thing. You can duplicate this and take it into that sprite. We can just click it into that and it'll appear here. So we want this to be opposite. We also want the keys to be different. So we want it to be up arrow and down arrow. So I might be mistaken, but I think this is right. So we've finished coding our whole program. Let's also add a stage backdrop really quick. Um, let's go get pictures. Well, the one I had was a neon tunnel, but you can actually give anything you like. Let's go with the neon tunnel just in case, because it looks the best in my opinion. You know, might have different opinions. So let's select that and boom, your program is ready for running. So let's test it out really quick. Let's get into full screen here and start playing. Oh, yes, and I forgot. The sensing blocks we've placed in ball. We first have to change these to paddles. Change the paddles. So instead of touching mouse pointer, we can keep. So this one was paddle, and this one is paddle 2. I was a bit confused there, but I think I figured out the problem because I accidentally put the increment sign here. We shouldn't need the increment sign. We need the asterisk symbol sign. That's what's supposed to be needed. Let's go to operators, get the asterisk one, and go to direction and give it's a -1 and another one as give it asterisk -1 and place those both back into the spots. Point in direction arrow, point in direction arrow. And now, finally, it should work. Let's try it out. Hopefully it works. Now let's make one of the players win and see if it broadcasts properly. Just a few more seconds. Game over and player 2 should win. Yes. And that's it for my project. Hope you had a easy time making this project, and I'll be making many more projects with this. And don't forget to come uh to my other courses such as my HTML course, and also don't forget to watch my gaming videos. They're pretty fun, and yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And also, those of you who've commented from my previous videos, thanks a lot. I will try and uh, do what you've asked me to do. Those are pretty nice suggestions. Thank you so much. Yeah, bye.